My humble greetings to you good fellows out there. We're still trying to figure out how to sort of resolve these issues that can help us to be able to sort of analyze things in a sense that one's life will not be so many ways trapped in certain situations which will sort of result in anger, frustration, uncomfort, and you can imagine a lot of it, which one would never want to place himself in such a situation, but it becomes a daily activity or something part and parcel of our everyday life, which we have to then begin to accept and as a normal way of life, which shouldn't be the case. In fact, how long would one live in pain and suffering? Even the books, as if you've listened to the video, the books that I have been showing or presenting to you, the Bible, Quran, reveals that the pain and all those sufferings and things we go through are not part of what originally should be the case. I mean, it doesn't make it, authentic, but what I'm saying that even these books that we have, I have my own, rejection of it. I see that even this book confirms that somehow one's life or one born into a world should not go through the hassle that he probably had to go through. And if that is the case, then the books even confirms and acknowledge the fact that our tough life and our sufferings are so unnecessary, But the other side is that the book blames us, and as the book begins to blame us for the wrong things, then I am trying to point to you that the book should not blame us if the book defines itself to be what it is. If it claims to be, to claim to stand behind that definition of the God that we sort of we define it, then it should not blame us for what it is that our life has found ourselves, what we found ourselves into, or what our life got into. If I'm, for instance, I've got into some sort of terrible situation which I'm ill, or I'm in pain, or I'm in guilt, whichever way it is, mental problems, I believe that the book should not blame me, and neither should I be advised by the book to sort of place me in a guilt trip, because if the book is there to present itself as coming from the Creator who created me, then guilt is out of the way. But as long as there is those guilt, and the advice of the book keeps us feeling guilt in our life, then we are bound to sort of fall into those circumstances that we find ourselves into, that makes us react and sort of take those moral stance that we take. And if we want to have a peaceful life in such a situation, it won't be very easy. It will be very, very difficult, because you can find your mind torn in between two advices or two different approach of idea, which is not merging, or it's not coming together, in so many ways. And I wouldn't want you to find yourself in that situation. And if I have been able to come out, maybe not with a flashy looking, successful, appearance, but just as natural as I can be, I'm presenting it for you to also get out. But going out doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to drown yourself and lose your entitlement of whatever you've got. No, you can still have all that. You still hold on to whatever it is that is yours. But it is something to do with the mental changes. The mental changes, the inner soul's change, reforming your own soul, reforming your mind to sort of become a better image. A better image, not for the outsider or somebody looking at you, or somebody who's the benefit is purely yours, whereby you will not end up drowning yourself and getting into a situation where you find yourself not accepting fully who you are. We depend on this book That's the Holy Bible. It's quite a red letter Bible. It has definitions which are very, convincing and unconvincing. We have both in there. We'll take a few out. We have the Holy Quran. That's another book which the Muslims are to use. But we have to depend on these books to sort of explain myself. I have the possibility thinkers, which I can also show you because it's also something which I depend on. It's the same book. There are other books, commentary books, which I also depend on as well. But let's hit on the rock. We'll sort of look into why is it that the book, the Quran or the Bible, is not from God, to my point of view, or why that cannot be embraced as something coming from God. Why is it that culturally or religiously it shouldn't be something that we should depend on if we want to go along that line? And even if we do go along the line of culture and religion, is it something that will help us in our social life? I think that not. It won't. I think that if these are the sources of what religion has been based on, then surely we have a big load of correction over our shoulders and our head to sort of get to deal with. And so I'm considering very much the idea that the truth is what matters. And if we're able to put the truth out and you hear it, you can make your mind up too and decide, well, in these books, we are told that the omniscient and omnipotent God, the God, the provider, the creator who is there, who created us and knows all about us. In these books, it is confirmed in so many instances, especially the Quran. It is confirmed in so many instances who God is. I pointed out, especially in Quran, Surah 4, verse 148, when he quotes, it says, God loveth not that evil should be noised abroad in public speech, except where injustice hath been done. For God is he who heareth and knoweth all things. God is he who heareth and knoweth all things. And he is trying to refer who the omniscient God is. He knows all things. And the whole text is talking about God has no interest, nor does he like evil. Evil has no place in him. So if God doesn't like evil, he surely does not do evil himself. And you'll be shocked to know that in other texts you see the act of God constructing something really evil onto others. Let's go down. You see another place it is quoted again in Surah, in Surah 147. It says, what can God gain by your punishment? If ye are grateful and ye believe, nay, it is God that recognizeth all good, and knoweth all things. He is all good and knoweth all things. Okay, and what good? What can God gain by your punishment? Exactly. What will God get if he punishes me? What would Allah get if he punished me? What profit would Allah gain from punishing me? Here it is. Yes, so you will have other quotations which we've quoted before, which is telling us that the book is telling us that Allah asks the Muslims to do what? To construct or take an evil act against their enemy, against the so many others. And there are other places where Allah himself also has told the people that he will punish you if you do not follow. Punishment will come upon you and hell will be your place. Hell is a place of punishment. Even if you are not talking about a destination or a certain place,